Welcome to Blamestorming. Blamestorming. In a post-truth world, there's plenty of blame to go around. 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 Join Dave Sirus and Maryssa Smith as they blamestorm about today's hot topics.
Hey guys, I am Dave Sirus, and this is an especially intimate episode of The Blamestorm. I'm here with our guest, and only guest at the moment, Mo Vida.
Hi.
Did I pronounce that even close to correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. It's a very short name, so, you know, you can go a lot of directions. Maryssa is on her way, as is our other guest, Matt, I assume. And but that's okay. We're just going to have fun here, aren't we, Mo?
Yes, we are. Absolutely.
So, I've never met Mo.
Hi, good to meet you.
Now, Mo, you are a stand-up comedian?
I am.
Are we Facebook friends?
I don't know.
Did you add me before we met like every other comedian I know?
So I tend not to, and it keeps trolling down. My policy usually, there are some outliers, is to only befriend people I've met physically.
What I do is, I'll accept a request because I don't want to be mean to people, but I find that like really the only people I accept are either, people I've met in comedy or, sometimes you actually get fans who want to friend you on Facebook. And have you noticed this? All my fans on Facebook are underwear models with like
bots. Are they bots? Are they bots?
No, they're people who just they have very few friends and all their pictures are semi-nude and there's usually like links in other languages.
See, now I would think they have lots of friends.
See, I really wonder, what am I doing that is attracting this specific kind of fan?
You have a penis?
Yeah, but I don't think that really comes across in my act. I think the more you watch my act, the less you'll think I do.
I think there's just that assumption.
Yes. Now Maryssa has walked in. Maryssa is here. Maryssa Smith is here. She's sitting down. She is angling her way towards the microphone. It's going to take her a little bit longer.
I am here, folks. I am here.
So we were just talking about nothing. And Mo and I, now Mo, have you ever done roast battling?
I did one. I did Fight Club, and I stink at it. I can be quite catty, but
I only ask because we never have any guests who haven't done it. It's how it seems to happen. I have one coming up, actually, Thursday, November 8th versus Maddie Smith for my championship.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
At the New York Comedy Club. I kind of hope I lose.
Ooh.
It'd be nice to relinquish that. Now that I know I'll never be on TV doing it, the motivation has really disappeared.
I thought you loved it, though.
Why would you think that?
Because you seem to be so into it. Like, you're always like, I don't know, like you text me your jokes and whatnot, and I'm just like, okay, how are you doing, Dave?
Although I like Maddie, so you're going to lose to somebody.
That's just a desire not to lose. No, I mean, that's me and Maddie have in common. We both really hate doing it. We just do it because we feel like we have to. So that's
that
nice.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, Maryssa's here. We have one other guest who might be coming. I don't know.
Yeah, he hasn't messaged me that.
You know what? We got to live our lives. We got to move on. And if he shows up, we will incorporate him. And if not, we won't.
We got a show anyway.
Hey, look.
So, now, when did you get back? You just got back from L.A. or?
I was in L.A. until Saturday.
Okay.
I was in L.A. till last Saturday. I flew into L.A. Saturday morning. I flew in from L.A. to New York Saturday morning. I was there working on something that I'm not supposed to talk about, but then the people who I'm doing it with talked about it in a much bigger platform than this. So I still don't know why I can't, but I promise, I swear, as soon as I'm allowed to, I will gloat nonstop about what's happening.
Okay.
So we were working on that in L.A. and then flew back here. I got one of those beds on the plane.
Okay.
Because, studio pays for it.
Oh,
and
nice.
I was like,
what's that like?
It's pretty great. It's pretty great, Mo. Not something I would pay for, but it's pretty awesome. It wasn't the best one. Delta has the best beds. So I got to sleep for part of the way, and I get in Saturday morning, and then a few hours later, I get asked to fly to Texas the following morning. So less than a day in New York.
Yeah.
Before I'm going to Texas. And now, when this airs, the thing that I did in Texas will have already come out.
That's Monday.
Right. But we're also live somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
we're live streaming on YouTube.
And so for the sake of just being careful, I'm going to act as though it's possible someone is watching this live on YouTube right now.
Okay, it's highly unlikely, but go on.
Like I'm pretty confident that if I put my phone number on this right now, no one is texting me. If I said it right now and then we deleted it. Can I do that? Can I just
try your social
Here,
security.
Can I just do that right now and just say my phone number? And if anyone is actually listening, feel free to text me right now to tell me, and we'll just how much work is it for you to take that out of the actual broadcast? Because I know that will go to tens of people, and I don't want all of them texting me at once.
We would have to not. I think we would have to take down the live feed. I don't know how to edit live.
No. I'm
the
saying
live is good.
No.
He wants the live. He
I'm
wants to see
saying-
who's watching live.
I will put out my phone number and social security number
No.
right now on the
Don't do that.
broadcast
Please don't.
to anyone listening to the live YouTube to prove that no one is listening to the live YouTube. I just think it'd be a fun experiment. I just don't want to make any extra work for anyone. Anyway,
I mean, I've got a Google Voice number.
Anyway, the point is, on Monday, the work that I did in Texas will have come out, and then I can acknowledge it. I'll post about it or anything. But it was basically involved going to Texas and interviewing, observing, filming the rallies for Beto and Ted Cruz.
Nice.
Beto O'Rourke and Ted Cruz, meeting people on both sides, doing lots of fun stuff. It's not a Brickstone thing. The character did.
Yeah.
But it's in the same
Vein.
Yeah, it's the thing that's in the same wheelhouse as Brickstone. If you like that, you'll enjoy this. And I'm guessing. Well, I mean, it's going to air on television, so it has. Which, believe it or not, some people still watch. So it should be fun.
Cool.
I look forward to that coming out. I'm not in it anymore. I was going to be in it briefly, but that part got cut.
Okay.
So
when and where can people watch it?
Well, that I can't.
You can't.
I think it's a surprise that it's airing on a certain show, on a certain very, very popular show. A very, very popular comedy show, hosted by someone I really love, is going to air this thing that we did.
Okay.
So
Cool.
yeah. So that's and so I've been editing that all day, every day in the city since I got back from Texas. I spent 3 days in Texas, mostly sleeping in a van, getting like 3 or 4 hours in a hotel, and then
That makes me feel better about
driving-
that bed you got on first class.
driving across the state, back and forth. It was quite an ordeal, and I got to see both those candidates up close, and it's very interesting. I find it very sort of odd, honestly, that Ted Cruz is so popular in Texas, because when you think about
He's
Texas,
kind of insufferable, though.
right? Like him and Louis Gohmert are just such weasels that you would think when you think of Texans, you think like, who likes these people?
Yeah.
But what I saw was a lot of I think what we're seeing a lot, and this is in general, people who like Cruz, who like Trump, they just want to fight. They just feel a need to fight people, and they want reasons. They want reasons, and they want, I think more than anything, excuses to feel morally superior because they're so resentful of what they perceive as the left's staking out of the moral high ground.
Right.
And they're so angry about that because the left say, because they're saying, well, we're supposed to have the moral high ground. We're, we go to church and we're against abortion. And then, they have the left saying, yeah, but we want to take care of the earth and the poor and,
And we don't want guns in schools. So it's okay to kill our kids once they're school age.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that that's what I see. Like I remember, this is just in general, like you see how many people sort of all at once said, okay, Christine Blasey Ford was assaulted, but it wasn't him. Like it's such a odd, unlikely, rare thing that would be what happened.
Right.
But they all stake it out as in, well, that's the one argument we can have that doesn't make us monsters, nor makes us lose anything that we don't want to lose,
right?
In terms of any.
Well, there's a ton of fear mongering going on, so I think even the idea of what they think they're losing. I mean, the fact of the matter is, a lot of these people who are so incredibly angry actually have very nice lives, but they listen to people who fear monger, and therefore, they genuinely are afraid and paranoid that they're losing their way of life.
I find it really sad that the word monger is used so much more for the word fear than fish now. That used to be what monger meant. A person who catches fish.
I thought the monger was the one that sold you the fish.
It doesn't matter.
Because they're like cheesemongers also.
I don't know. But a monger is one who collects it, right?
No, I think the monger is like
Sells
the shopkeep. Like, because there's cheesemongers and then there's fishmongers.
But then hate monger didn't sell hate.
He's forcing
redistributed
it.
Right.
Yeah. He proliferated hate. Hate monger was a Marvel Comics character who could make people hate each other, and then it was later revealed had the brain of Adolf Hitler.
Trump.
It was he had Hitler's brain.
Tomato.
Which, by the way, in the comic book universes, Hitler's brain is everywhere. He's in Image Comics. He's inside a gorilla. In Marvel, he's inside of the one guy.
Because he represents the worst part of human beings, and that is in all of us to some extent.
Yeah, well, we're all capable of it, aren't we? That's the thing. Everyone loves to believe that they have such intrinsic moral value, but it's like if you were born in any other time, you would agree with whatever they were doing. And that's why we have the situation we have now. Because people think that everything is just going to be fine forever, and they're like, no, we're living in like an oasis, an actual oasis of horrible things happening in the world. This time period is better than most, and it's getting really bad because people are so stupid that they don't even know what history was. So they're treating everything like it just happened, not like it's clearly a recurrence of something that's already happened.
Right. Because I think that's really the problem, is that people are not knowledgeable about history, and they don't understand really the ebbs and flows of it, or the cyclical nature of it. That, like, what's happening now is it happens variously throughout time. But I think that people are so, like, kind of to your point where you're saying that, like, they're afraid of losing their way of life. Yeah. But, like, at the same time, like, it really isn't that bad. It's like, right now it's bad, and it feels for us worse than it did before.
But it's actually not
really,
that
we don't have, we're in this country not suffering from famines, but, like, there are plenty of famines across the globe. And these people are just worried that, I don't know, that an illegal alien is going to take their parking spot.
Well, they're not worried about losing their way of life. They're worried that they don't have the way of life they think they deserve, which isn't one that even exists. I think there's a real sense on the left and right of everyone really wants to be a victim, and everyone really wants to act everyone really wants to act like whatever's happening is the worst it's ever been. And the right especially uses that, and they say, like, oh, the economy, it's the worst. It's both the worst and the best it's ever been. Because it's the best it's ever been, because they need for that to keep Trump in office. But also, we're getting destroyed by trade. We're getting raped by everyone. Everything America does is always about being victims, and we don't get anything from any. It's just it's an extreme laziness,
right,
of thought that Trump seduces people with, of saying to people, you don't have to think so hard, which wasn't that hard to begin with.
Right.
That he's telling people you can just be happy and live in a world that is unbelievably simplistic, and all you have to do is believe me when you know I'm lying.
Do you think that they know that he's lying, or do you think they actually believe him?
I spoke to some people on the right who, at these rallies,
mm-hmm.
they all know that
he's
there's something wrong with him. They just want to use him as a weapon against the people they truly hate. Everyone they don't know.
So it's like that enemy of my enemy is my best friend.
Yeah. They think he's a weapon to use against the people who are trying to turn their children gay. And that's why they never stop talking about Colin Kaepernick, because they think that they have found some argument that makes them morally superior, which is not kneeling. Is their version of that's morality.
And it's hilarious
that I
because
don't
so many
something.
People.
They're defining their own morality by something they don't do because someone else they don't know did it. It's the same thing on the left, where people basically try to say that because I did nothing, I'm better than anyone who did anything that I could try to hopefully find something wrong with. Like, like a joke or something you said, like, even if it wasn't really offensive, there are people who are ruining the idea of trying to make the world better and having progress by pretending they see something wrong and then saying, well, I'm a good person because you 8 years ago tweeted something that if I take out of context kind of looks bad.
No, I agree, because I think especially during like the Halloween season, I noticed that a lot of people were really upset about costumes, and like I kind of like, I don't know. One of my friends had posted this article that was basically saying like, you know, Black people need to stop dressing like Native Americans for Halloween. And
Wait,
Well,
I'm sorry.
Why
what?
Black people?
it was
Why not just? Why not?
it was specifically Black people.
Well, no one's supposed to do that, right?
Well, my thing is this: like, if you like,
think
let's
I've
say
ever
if you're going to
seen
be,
that.
but if you're going to be Pocahontas for Halloween, I think it's fine for you to be Pocahontas for Halloween as long as you're not like, doing like red face. But like, if your costume is Pocahontas, I think you're being a historical figure. What I don't think you should do is I'm an Indian. Like, I don't think you should just play like, like generic Native American for Halloween. But I think if you're being a historical figure, I think you can do that.
Well,
And, like,
you can't change the law and say only historical figures that don't resemble an ethnicity are okay. I mean, it's like the question
every
of,
historical figure has its own
Didn't
ethnicity.
Al Roker get some heat because he
well,
dressed
Al
up
Roker
as,
didn't
like-
get heat. Al Roker got right-wing lying trolls pretending to be offended,
Right.
because he dressed up
Whiteface.
as well.
But
no,
he didn't.
but he didn't whiteface. But
No,
they're
he just-
saying that it's whiteface.
They
They
are
being
How
the
is
right.
it
lying
whiteface?
Yeah.
trolls who spread things in public that are lies, that they know are lies, because they think this is how they can be annoying and ruin progress. It's the same exact thing as when any time that I tweet something about believing, about anything to do with Me Too, a right-wing troll with 8 followers will say, "You raped me."
Right.
That's what they do now. They just respond and say, "Well, I'm saying you raped me. So how is it any different?" And it's like,
Oh boy, this is going to turn into the boy who cried wolf, because something's actually going to happen to these people, and
Well,
people
hopefully.
are going to be like, "Yeah,
But-
no."
but yeah, that's
They're
the
bots.
same thing.
Nothing's going to happen except their circuits like break down.
They're
or
just
something.
no, they're not bots. These are mostly not bots. These are people in America who believe this and are unhinged and are indulging in this mixture of illness and stupidity. Whereas once people might have wanted to be better, now they want to be worse. That's what happened with Jacob Wool.
Right.
Jacob Wool is the 20-year-old former, and I'm using air quotes, hedge fund manager, because it was a fake hedge fund. He's banned for life from like these kinds of things because it was a bullshit fund.
You know
Right.
when Wall Street bans you,
At 20,
Yeah.
you are
he's got a real
garbage
good
person.
Yeah, there was like he was trying to do amateur hedge fund stuff, and then somebody invested $75,000 with him.
Yeah.
He told the guy that the fund made money, and then the guy cashed out, and he gave him $44,000 and said, "Oh, the fund suddenly lost a ton of money," and they found that the fund actually had made a slight amount of money. He just stole it all, literally stole the money,
Yeah.
and put it in his mom's bank account.
That's
Right.
adorable.
So that's who this guy Jacob Wool is, a guy who sounds to me, to be perfectly honest, like someone who probably experiences mania. Maybe sounds like a guy in a manic state.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks he can run a hedge fund, has no experience, doesn't really know what he's doing, and probably narcissist, I would guess. So he became a conspiracy nut online,
Right.
pushing ridiculous conspiracies, worshiping Donald Trump, because that's what unhinged narcissists
Donald Trump's
do.
been creating
And-
his cult of personality for a long time.
Yeah, but it's very different now. And what Jacob Wool did was he has just been caught being responsible for offering several women money to lie and say that they were sexually assaulted by Robert Mueller.
Right.
Now, that is the larger version of just replying to a Me Too text with, "Well, if I say you raped me, aren't we even?" Like, we're dealing with a child who doesn't want to ever be an adult.
Yeah.
And he lied and said that he had nothing to do with this, but was too stupid to do it properly. Multiple women contacted the press or the FBI and said that they were offered money to lie about this. And then one woman said she apparently took the money and said, "Yeah, Robert Mueller sexually assaulted me." And then they said, "What day was that?" And she said, and they were like, "Oh, well, he was in jury duty,"
Yeah.
because they're really bad at this.
Yeah.
And now, but this is what we've always expected, because conspiracy theorists are like guys who think their girlfriends are cheating. It's because they're cheaters. Guys who are really jealous of their girlfriends are really jealous of their girlfriends because they cheat themselves and they can't imagine anyone not doing it.
I've experienced that.
You've accused guys of cheating because you're such a philanderer?
No, I dated somebody who just would constantly accuse me of cheating, and then he was cheating on me and ended up marrying her. So
Did he have anxiety?
Yes, very, very.
Yeah, he
severe.
had. Yeah. That's also a big part of it. I was going to say when someone like can't let something go,
Yeah,
they just keep asking the same question over and over again. That's an anxiety thing. Yeah.
that's weird.
So he had both anxiety and was cheated on you.
Yes.
Well, that's just stupid. That's just bad. I mean, I feel like that's the worst thing to do if you have anxiety is just to be a cheater. I mean, for God's sake,
you're always anxious about getting caught. I mean, that's why I don't cheat.
Yeah, right.
It's like I'm never going to get away with this. I'm not even going to bother.
So would he like accuse you? Like basically, it was like anytime you had any opportunity, he would assume you did that. Like
It was. I mean, it wasn't quite that bad, but it was weird. Like I remember one time. He was coming over. He bartended, so Saturday nights were very late. And he was coming over to my place, and I had my phone in my hand because I was waiting for him to text. And then when he came in, he was like, "Who are you texting?" And I'm like, "You dummy! Like, what do you mean? It's 4:00 in the morning. Who are you texting?" I'm like, "Who do you? I'm texting you." And that was, I think, one of the ones where I was like, "This is super weird that he would be so accusatory when it's pretty obvious that I'm texting you at 4 a.m. because you want me to let you in the house." Yes.
Right. When you have that kind of anxiety, basically what you do is you desperately want it to be true. You desperately want something bad to happen to prove that you're right.
Yeah. Or maybe he wanted that out, like he's not a bad person if I'm also cheating, and maybe that was an out. I don't know. We never really talked about it.
My ex used to accuse me of cheating, and with like one of our friends, and I was dating a comic, and our friend was also a comic, and he would do my shows, and like he lived near me, so like when we'd have like late shows, he'd give me a ride home, and he'd just be like, "Well, you're out late with him all the time," and I'm like, "He's doing my show. I asked you if you wanted to do the show, and you said you didn't want to do the show. If you thought something was going on, do the show. Then he'll give us both a ride home." And
did you fuck him?
No, he was just like my little brother, but like it was just like he just like was just like, "Oh no, I know that you two," and then like. When we broke up, he went to him and he was just like, "Well, like if you and Maryssa get together, I'm cool with it. You're both good people. You deserve to be happy." And like, he's like, "You're crazy. Like first of all, we've always just been friends. We're not even interested in each other, and we're not getting together. Like we're just friends. We've always just been friends."
Can I just take a wild guess? The friend that he kept thinking you were fucking was Rodney, right?
No, I know who it is.
Yeah,
I know who it is.
Yeah, you probably do.
How is he?
So
he's good. He's good.
It's not Rodney, the gayest man I've ever met.
No,
you need to get out more.
Yeah, no,
go to a parade or something.
So you haven't met him.
I have met him,
and you think I'm wrong about that? I mean, I don't mean
that
in a negative way.
Men.
I'm not saying that he's gayer than every other man in the world. I'm just saying whatever the ceiling is, he's on it. With lots of other men. I'm just saying nothing wrong with that. I love Rodney. I'm just saying I wouldn't.
That would be like super.
I've had a lot of guys at like that come up to me and been like, "Oh, like they thought that I was dating Rodney," and I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Did you hear Rodney
because
speak?
You're black.
Like,
you're both black. See, that's like people do that.
And
you guys must be together.
It was just like it was so crazy because like there, like we do karaoke after this, and so like there was this guy at the bar, and he was asking something. He's like, "Oh, listen, like no offense, I don't want like to like step on your man's toes," and I'm like, "What man?" And he's like, "Your boyfriend." I'm like, "That's not my boyfriend. Like he's super gay."
You must
like,
have seen him from afar.
Like I don't know. It's just like.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't assume Rodney was gay just from looking at him. I just mean because I know him and I know what he talks about on stage. He's very, very openly gay. That's all I mean.
A way of sashaying into a room, though.
Yeah, that's right.
No,
love you, Rodney.
He should be proud of who he is and not hide a thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I love about him. But like,
I get that all the time though, because as a comic, all my friends are guys. Not all of them, obviously.
a lot of them.
But I mean, there's and it's just,
and that's like the crazy thing too, because like I tend to date comics, but they're like, why are all your friends guys? I'm like, you're a comic also. Why are all of your friends guys? Like, because most of the people we're around are guys.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I don't understand how you can even be with someone like that. I don't get how you can like want to be in a relationship where someone's accusing you of something all the time. It's fucking
But I
crazy
think,
to me.
well, you don't. But the thing is
They don't
typically,
start off that way.
Typically, it doesn't start off that way, and then you're already invested emotionally and however else, and then the immediate. I mean, I've had to really teach myself to not do this, but the immediate reaction, of course, is to defend yourself, rather than take a step back and say, you know what? I've done nothing wrong. I haven't even done anything that would really indicate that I'm cheating. So let's really unpack this. Why are you afraid of this? Why do you feel, is this something that you're bringing from another relationship, or are you cheating? But then it's like, oh, you're crazy. I'm like, listen, bitch, I have had enough men cheat on me pretty severely that my honing device for that is pretty strong.
People use the words "you're crazy." Usually when someone hears the words "you're crazy" and that person does not have a history of mental illness, it's almost always because you caught that other person lying.
100. What is that? Gaslighting?
The words "you're
gaslighting.
crazy" is just what people say when you catch them lying. It's just a universal answer. It's something that
it's the negative like I need a moment to think about a lie to get out of this, so I'll just go, "You're crazy." It's a mental and a verbal.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of simplicity of argument these days. People just, ever since we started rewarding emotion in political arguments, people get extremely. They just decide to be unhinged
But
as an
doesn't
advantage.
that only work for white men though? Because I feel like if
That's Candace Owens if it works.
she's not. I mean.
She is made of emotion. She is a flame
Or what about Ann
throwing
Coulter?
narcissist. She's a flame. Well, yeah, but Candace Owens and Ann Coulter are the same person, is what I'm saying. They're exactly the same. They just say things because they desperately want to make other people upset.
But I'm saying, like, if you were an actual candidate, like these two are just kind of like political talking heads, and I think that like if you're like a Trump or if you're a Kavanaugh, like you can get away with like screaming and showing emotion and yelling and pounding your fists and beating your chest, but if you're like a black tennis player, you can't be in the heat of the moment during a match because women and black people aren't allowed to show emotion.
Well, when you say you can't, but most people were on her side. Most people were on Serena Williams' side, though. So when you say you can't, I mean, that kind of contradicts what I saw when that happened. It seemed like everyone was on her side against against the judge.
I don't think
when you
everybody.
Say you can't be, it's like
I really don't think everybody, and I think that.
Well, but can't without not can or can't, but rather the reaction to
if a man did the same
doing
thing, it would not have had the same result.
I mean, I could
Well,
tell
but
you.
didn't they show that McEnroe had the exact same results from the same thing, though? They showed that McEnroe got the exact same penalties for doing the same things. When he would break his racket,
I thought he tweeted that he had done and said worse and nothing happened to him.
Well, he had done and said worse, but had also been suspended, I thought. I thought that's.
I didn't see it. I didn't see that. It's possible, but I didn't see that. I did see that there were many male tennis players that had tweeted out in support of her that said that they had done and said worse things to judges and had no penalties or fines.
Oh no, plenty of people have, and I think that they are more harsh with women, as we saw in tennis, because a few days earlier, a woman was fined for changing a shirt, which is something men do all the time.
Right,
a white woman. I think that by being famous, this guy probably thought that it was his responsibility to not let Serena Williams take advantage because she's such a star. But like I said, I think the general public seemed to be on her side. Everyone I know was on her side.
But I mean, I didn't necessarily see that, but I also feel like she would have a punishment that a white male would not have. And going back again to political races, I mean, we've got the midterms on Tuesday. If any woman, black or white, or any male of color went on a rally and spoke like Trump or reacted like Kavanaugh, everyone would have a complete shit fit. But like if it's a white guy, it's like, well, of course he's showing emotion because he's angry, and
he's
like
gonna be tough. He's gonna be our cowboy who's gonna save us.
It's like he's he's telling it like it is.
Although, what's his face? Shoot, the one who got like, Dean? No,
Ben Carson?
no.
He's not very angry.
The DNC, the Democrat, a few years back, who
Barack Obama?
no, Dean Edwards. Not Dean Edwards. That's a comic.
Howard Dean. Yes, Howard Dean
Sorry,
was
I'm hungover.
roundly. Well, Howard Dean was also a Democrat, and this was before that was the new world. This was before you were allowed to be an emotional wreck on stage, and people would call it a good thing. Howard Dean, but people sort of revised the history behind Howard Dean.
They thought he was untethered.
Right, but that was also because people. We have to look back at when Howard Dean's yeehaw moment. He had just lost the election. People sort of remember it wrong sometimes and say that he lost it because of that. No, what happened was he got destroyed by John Kerry and then was trying to whip up his fans to be like, no, it's not over because we're going to get, and then he listed every state left that he had to sweep to even have a chance. And he looked, it was, that moment probably wouldn't have been embarrassing if he was winning. It was because he was losing and it seemed pathetic that he was like putting on this artificial charge to it, and then he goes, yeah! That saying yeah was what was embarrassing.
Well, and he was also saying, I think that, the way that got picked up by the mics and things like that, like he's like in the room, it was really, really loud and, whatever. So there was even that element to it where and how it looked and how it appeared was magnified by, how it was going out in the cameras versus if you were in the moment, if you were in the room.
I mean, Barack Obama is obviously an amazing speaker. He's someone that, was known for being great at that. And he was always sort of professorial. He wasn't overly emotional. But I don't know. I wonder how the right would react to a black person on their side acting that way. I don't know that they'd be against that. I think that I think they want flamethrowers, whoever they can get. I think that they just want emotion and hate and anger. But we reward that so much now that it does encourage it.
It started with reality TV. That's my theory.
It's a big part of it, reality TV as well as the internet.
Because that's really what started. Because I remember when Real World was, I think, one of the first shows. And those people started to quickly realize that if they were in that house, whoever behaved the worst would get the more popular, they'd be most popular, they would just get more attention, more airtime, et cetera, et cetera. And we kind of started to reward bad behavior, and that's kind of where we are nowadays.
And the internet allowed for everyone to speak to everyone, so elitism disappeared in the sense that now you could just be a 12-year-old making things up on the internet, and you might get thousands of people to believe you. And it created opportunity for everyone to be famous, and everyone started treating themselves like a god and treating themselves like, and and reality TV created this very, very confusing new idea, the idea of being famous for no reason.
Yep.
And that there were so many people out there. I mean, basically most people online sort of act like they think they're going to become famous, but just from their normal lives, just for living their regular lives, they think I'm just by pure charisma going to just become a star. And it's very bizarre and very depressing.
Well, I think
especially I would just want to go home and curl up under my covers.
Especially, I mean, you have like so many like Instagram models. And the thing that kills me the most are like these kids that are making like millions of dollars playing video games on YouTube. Like it's just like, why would you watch someone else play a video game when you could just be playing your own fucking video game?
It's too much work.
Why do people watch the NFL?
It's like,
well, at least there you're watching a sport.
But you can't. They're not going to be like, they obviously don't have like
poker. I just don't. It's crazy.
I think it's like ASMR. I think they like the fact that it allows them to relax their brains to almost a coma-like level, because they're just sort of casually acting like you're sitting on a couch while someone else is playing a video game, which some people actually want to do. It's terrifying.
It's like, I don't know, like
weed.
It's crazy to me, because I mean, I have been, in so many rooms throughout years of like dating guys or friends or whatever, and they're playing video games, and like I don't want to watch somebody play a video game when I'm in the room with them.
And they pay for it. People pay monthly fees to watch other people play video games. It's really, really sad.
There's also new trends of kids that watch other kids play with toys and dolls and stuff. Like I've had like coworkers. What?
Yeah, unboxing.
No, that's not the unboxing. That's a whole nother thing. But like this is like little kids are like playing like Tea House or whatever, and other kids watch these little kids playing on their like tablets and stuff.
Why?
I have no idea, but like I have coworkers that have told me about it. Like, yeah, like my kid loves watching this kid play with these toys, and I'm just like, why don't you just play with your own toys? And they're, no, this is better.
Well, they're adapting.
I just want to
And
not
they can...
be. I want to get off this merry-go-round, please. Can
Well,
you
we
stop
also,
it?
we also have this real problem of like we are just groveling to children now. We're groveling to young people, acting like. I mean, I've seen so many people say this thing like, "Oh, the young people are going to save us because they can." I'm like,
No,
really?
they're not.
Are they voting? Are they giving a shit about anything? Are they showing some kind of new level of involvement? Because I remember people would act like it was a big deal when a few years ago a high school student sued Obama to take climate change more seriously, and then he was in a newspaper quoted as saying, "We are the ones we've been waiting for," because you made a little play lawsuit against the president because you made like a little like a little fake little I'm acting like daddy at work, not real
I don't
lawsuit.
understand why these people think that. Because...
Why don't you just sue God to cure AIDS and then say you cured AIDS?
Yeah.
If that's what you think fixing something is.
Do you remember the episode of Ally McBeal when they sued God?
No.
I think it was Lucy Liu's character sued God. It was actually my favorite episode.
Ancient Egyptians used to do that.
Sue God?
They would sue God, sue animals, sue flies.
Like, I don't understand why people haven't started, like, suing Trump yet for, like...
I'm sure they tried.
They did for his school.
Because you can't. You can't sue a president. You can't fight. There's a lot of laws against that. You can't really directly sue a president usually. There's a lot of... I don't think you can... I think most of the things you're talking about, he's protected from. Because he is getting sued. His businesses get sued because, you know...
But he's very litigious.
Yeah, exactly. But like
that's really all he does.
Because I think that, like, especially now that we've had like the MAGA bomber, and I guess yesterday another bomb was found.
Yeah, Tom Steyer, the guy who does those commercials to impeach Trump. The guy was basically sending bombs to every single person that Trump didn't like.
Right.
Because he was you saw the guy. He's a steroid-obsessed lunatic who was pushed toward this by Trump's rhetoric.
Exactly.
Because this is what Trump's wanted. This is why Trump's doing this. He wants to get everyone afraid. This is good. Let's not think for a second that Trump was upset about this. Trump was like, oh, they're finally listening.
But I don't understand why he wouldn't be why the people that were targeted couldn't sue him because he's inciting
He's inciting
violence.
Because you can't sue. You couldn't sue him for that. He didn't say send a bomb to people I don't like.
I think that there's been
freedom of speech says you can call people whatever you want. You can't incite violence against them, but Trump never.
But he does.
He does because it rallies. I think he was saying, we should punch him in the face, and
I'll pay for your legal fees, and I think they followed.
I can't sue Trump because someone tried to bomb me because he told someone previously to punch someone who's about to throw a tomato at me in the face. That's not how the law works.
I think that he's establishing a pattern of inciting violence.
Yeah, he should be held responsible for it, but it's not. He hasn't broken that. He hasn't broken a law in that respect. He should be punished for it by the fact that it's indecent.
I think one of his
and
own disillusioned supporters is going to try to take him out because they're so all about their guns and that's how you solve things. And I think
he's playing a game. He's playing a game where he thinks it can't come back at him. That these wrestling fans are never going to turn on him.
Yeah,
so
but do you think that Sayoc was alone? Do you think that he did this on his own?
Yeah, I do. Does you tell me that guy doesn't look like someone who was making bombs in his van? I mean,
no.
Trust me. Anyone who wants to can make a pipe bomb if they really want to. He also made pretty shitty ones too. None of them.
I was going to say, none of them even detonated.
He's an idiot. He couldn't even spell CNN right. No, the guy was a moron. And like, it's not that hard. Most of these people get their bombs wrong because thank God the people who want to bomb us are usually goddamn idiots. But I have no reason to believe Sayok was working with anyone else. I mean, how hard would it be?
One thing that I think is strange is that why this last bomb just arrived yesterday when all the other bombs arrived last week.
The Postal Service sucks. Actually, no, the Postal Service is pretty good, but things get lost. You never know. It could have been the weight of it. He didn't do the same kind of delivery. I mean, it also could have just. It could have been flagged and they didn't find whatever it was. Are you saying that
maybe that's why you think he's working
Well,
with
it doesn't have to be the only. It doesn't have to be him. It could be other people.
Yeah, I don't think he did it alone. I think that he does not look organized enough to
Did you see the packages? They were pretty shitty.
Right, but then if you look at the organization of the stickers on his car, like it is OCD level of like not necessarily organization, but everything is completely straight. Like there's nothing like he looks like he is too. You're
overestimating what a person who looks crazy is capable of.
There's profilers who have talked about this.
Yeah, like
it's not that hard to put a bunch of stickers on your car and make a pipe bomb. And
he as a person does not seem organized enough to pull this off on his own.
There's no organization here. He made a bunch of pipe bombs and he mailed them and they all sucked.
Also, I feel like why haven't we heard that like there was fibers from that make and model of truck on any of the bombs and packages, but there's like he had DNA on like a couple of the envelopes.
Fingerprints.
Right, but
they
like
found your fingerprints.
But like I mean, I don't know. I feel like usually when you have like too much evidence like right in front of you, it's usually to throw you off of something else. Like it's normally you're not going to just get like a complete orgasm full of evidence in one fucking place.
Well, yeah, they only found his fingerprints on one of the packages. That's how they found him. I mean, that's a very small amount of evidence. It's because they had such a team behind trying to find him. But I don't see any conspiracy here.
I don't know. I don't.
This seems very straightforward. A guy made a crazy person who loved Trump tried to kill his enemies and got caught because he was an idiot who didn't know what he was doing. Remember, the bombs didn't work. So there's nothing here that like is above his pay grade. Also, crazy people can accomplish things. The Unabomber was really good at making bombs, and he was a lunatic.
Right, but he was also a genius.
Yeah, well, this guy Sayok, we don't know what his intelligence is.
Have you read his tweets?
Yeah,
he can't even spell nigger right.
Well, he's obviously unhinged and an idiot. Like I said, but that's the difference.
Is it the double letters? Because he got CNN wrong.
Yeah,
but that's the point. He failed? That's why his bombs didn't work and Ted Kaczynski's did.
It's like
because Ted Kaczynski was smarter. His bombs didn't work. He was an idiot. Look, anyone can go online and find out how to make a pipe bomb.
No, this is true. But like, did his bombs not work because his bombs bombed? I mean, but you can also make a bomb that doesn't work and purposely make a bomb that doesn't work. Like I think that by the fact that he is such an idiot, like why didn't these things blow up in his truck?
I don't know. I feel like you're looking for something that isn't really
She's
evidenced.
got spidey senses telling her stuff.
Yeah, but I'm saying like that. I don't see any evidence behind this. This is just sort of. I don't see why this can't just be a crazy person decided to.
But
kill
I think
some
it's
people.
too early. I mean, we don't know. Everything
I don't.
Yet.
I feel like we need.
Yeah, maybe
to know,
he did work with someone, but I don't see any reason why that has to be true. I don't. I'm just saying, just because a person looks crazy does not mean it's impossible that he can throw some bombs together. Look at how many people said it's impossible that 12 Arabs could hijack a plane and hit the World Trade Center, and everyone's like, "This is impossible." I'm like, you're not thinking straight. If you wanted to get on a plane with a box cutter and fly it into a building, you could.
Yeah.
All you have to do is be willing to die.
That nothing to
there's
lose.
nothing crazy. There's
Part
nothing
of it.
complicated about this.
Yeah, that's what's scary.
When people were like, "Oh, the government how could they possibly do this themselves? How could they possibly get on a plane and say, get out of the cockpit or I'll kill you?" Like anyone could do that. I think we search for complexity in things so much where it's like I don't know. I think part of it is a fear that it's this easy to just kill people. that the world is this
that's a good
that the world
point.
is this fragile. I think we try to find conspiracies, we try to find structures behind things because it's terrifying to be like, no, we really are in a rock in space, and the wrong moves can kill us all forever. And that's what I feel like. That's all that's really happening. We don't have anyone tending this garden. If we fuck it up, everyone dies forever.
Why didn't he mail one to Bernie?
Because Bernie is no one that Trump ever talks about, has nothing to do with the anti-Trump movement, has not been on the news compared to any of the other people who received it. And Bernie helped Trump become president in a lot of people's estimation. I don't think that, but no one looks at Bernie as Trump's enemy.
Yeah, he's been.
I've never
kind
heard
of
Trump
quiet.
talk about Bernie the way he talks about the vast majority of other people. Bernie, I can think of 30 people who would be ahead of him on the list that didn't get it.
Why didn't he mail one to Comey?
Why didn't he get to Rosie O'Donnell? Why didn't he get it? Why didn't he send one to Rod Rosenstein? Why didn't he send one? We could rattle
Maybe
these names
the
off
Comey
forever.
one is still.
We could rattle these names
somewhere
off
in our
forever.
postal
But I
system.
mean, I
yeah,
would think
exactly.
Comey
Because you
is
can't
like,
get Comey's address because he's an FBI agent, so his address is not readily available. All these people were people that you could get their address of online.
Or he sent them to CNN.
Yeah, he sent
for
it.
that.
Yeah, he
right,
sent it
person.
to care of CNN. He sent it to places that a person with Google could find. Like I said, why didn't he send it to Michael Cohen? Why didn't he send it to Avenatti? Why didn't he send it to Stormy Daniels? He's a fucking lunatic. He sent it to all people that common knowledge reminds us hated Trump. All the people that on an average day, if you were going through Trump's tweets, those are the people that he would have mentioned I hate.
But
Bernie's out of the conversation. He's not even part of the anti-Trump conversation.
Well, I kind of feel like that's like another, yes, he was hitting Trump's hate list, but also mostly liberals and Democrats. And I feel like Bernie Sanders is like a bigger beacon of liberalism than Cory Booker.
You're completely misunderstanding who he was going after. He was going after the people criticizing Trump. Bernie Sanders is not on the news for criticizing Trump nearly as much as every other person that received this package. And there are, like I said, 30 people that I could put between Bernie and the people who did get it. Why didn't Chuck Todd get it? Did Chuck Todd get a suspicious package? I can't even tell you. Why didn't Rachel Maddow? Did Rachel Maddow? I'm not even 100% sure what the whole list is.
Well, because
but
I
I'm
think
saying
Trump
that,
goes at, to your point, Trump goes after like CNN. So then you have this guy like watching CNN.
But
and
has
who's
Trump
talking.
like tweeted about Kamala Harris? Like I don't like he tweets about Maxine Waters, but like and he bitches about Maxine
Kamala
Waters.
Harris?
Yeah.
Kamala Harris is at the forefront of the idea of who is trying to take down Trump. She's a person that people expect to run for president. She was very prominent in the Kavanaugh hearings.
But he doesn't talk about her. Trump does not talk about her.
Fox News talks about her.
But Trump doesn't talk about her.
See, okay.
So if he was going
and that's
after
evidence of a conspiracy to you?
No, what I'm saying is that you said that this
Kamala Harris is more
was
talked about than
targeting-
Bernie Sanders in today's day
But
and
Bernie
age.
really is. I mean, I see what you're saying.
Bernie
I
has-
see what
If he-
you're
if-
saying.
if
but
You're living in
he's going-
2016. Bernie
No,
is
but-
no longer the person you're talking about. He is
He's not.
a
He
big
really is
name
not.
against Trump.
I mean, think
Kamala
about
Harris
it.
is. Kamala Harris is on news shows all the time
But what I'm saying
talking
is
about
if,
Trump,
if,
and Bernie's
if,
not.
If Sayoc was targeting Trump's hit list,
Yeah.
Bernie
Trump
Sanders
never,
isn't on it.
but Trump doesn't talk about Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
Are you
but
sure about
she
Kamala?
is.
Kamala.
Harris.
He doesn't talk about her.
But she is very vocal and she is actively going
I
after
agree.
him. Bernie's not doing anything.
Trump.
He really isn't.
But I don't, he talks about Maxine. 100% he talks about Maxine. He talks about Soros. But like he doesn't, I don't see him.
Kind of
You're also
out of
forgetting-
sight, out of mind.
You're forgetting
I think,
how
with
much
Bernie.
how much these people don't talk about Bernie because Bernie is not a good target for them because of Bernie is known for his extreme authenticity. So he's never gotten the kind of hatred that other Democrats get because he happened
And he's
to
also
be
not a
very
Democrat.
popular as a populist. Well, he was a
Right.
Democrat,
Well.
for a period of time when he was running for office because he was Democratic. He's a Democratic socialist, but he was certainly running, as a Democrat, when he ran for president. But like I said, he's not part of the conversation. He's simply not a player right now.
But a lot of people are saying that he's going to run. I mean, really, Biden isn't really. I mean, he might run,
Every
but
one of
like,
these people is more known in the year 2018 for criticizing Trump than Bernie Sanders. Bernie, I love Bernie. I think he's doing great work, but he is not one of the mainstream voices of Stop Trump. Nor
And
does he
he's
want to be.
also
He's doing
not as-
more important work than, than just that.
I think his approach also has typically been not to just completely go after people, but rather to bring solution to the table. So when you really think about the rhetoric and how people speak about this, he, not that he isn't criticizing Trump, but I think he's more about, here's what I want to do. Here's what's wrong with the system. Here's how we can fix the system versus just being very vocal and anti-Trump. That's kind of been, in my opinion, how he's approached things, and that's his rhetoric.
And also, I mean, granted, I know like Obama is Obama, but like until recently, he wasn't, until like it was getting close to the midterms, he's been relatively silent. So like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, but Trump got elected off of hatred of Obama and trying to get people to hate him. Trump has never made Bernie Sanders a focus of his anger, and Bernie Sanders has never made his platform about hating Trump. And this guy, Sayok, is unhinged. He wasn't really all there. It sounds more like this is a guy who watched a day of Fox News and just started amassing all the people he hates. This is also obviously emotional.
Rage.
This is emotion to him. This is about, I hate all these people who are trying to stop my beloved president who is going to make the world safe for crazy, roided up assholes like me.
Well, he hated Obama and had been tweeting about him since I think 2012.
Sick?
Yeah. He had been tweeting about Maxine Waters also, and Booker, and he had been to Trump rallies in 2016. Michael Moore had footage of him at a Trump rally. So like he's been on this like hatred of Obama for a long time. I don't necessarily feel like his hatred of Obama is necessarily equal to him trying to target Trump's own personal list, because Obama was already his own target.
Well, Obama is still someone that Trump hates and talks about hating a lot and has hated for as long as Obama has been in the public eye. So it doesn't surprise me. The guy's a lunatic. He's an emotional wreck who just wanted to kill the people that he finds objectionable for criticizing his beloved president. And Obama's done that. And Obama was someone that Trump already hated. I find the Bernie Sanders thing very left field. I just think you could name 100 people who would be ahead of him on the list if we kept sending things. And I mean, we don't even know who else he did send stuff to that didn't even make it. The guy was sending shitty pipe bombs to random people that Fox and Friends would probably list as like, oh, all the people who hate Trump, all the never Trump people. I don't know. There's nothing about this story that sounds suspicious to me.
How does a pipe bomb work? I know that's a dumb question, but like, how can you put it in the mail and then ensure that it
Well, you're supposed to make it so that the opening of it is the trigger. That you have like you have a trigger friction that's attached to the part that opens.
Oh.
When you open it, you pull something. It's like, think of like Home Alone.
Okay.
It's essentially, it's actually exactly like Home Alone.
Got it.
All
Thanks
bombs.
for explaining it.
All you need to know about making a bomb is from Home Alones 1 and 2.
Okay. I'll have to rewatch.
Yeah, look, and then
To prepare
He
for
also put
Armageddon.
shrapnel in it, which is
everyone does
That's
that.
like
Well, that's a very
brutal.
common thing. Every movie that has a bomb, they remind people to put like ball bearings and shrapnel to hurt more people, so that because that's like it's authentic. But also, I think a lot of people learn to do that because of those movies. No, the guy definitely, you can find it online. There's Reddits. There's places you can find how to make any of this stuff. It's so easy that it's surprising it doesn't happen more with how many lunatics we have. Then a day and a half later.
Fortunately, we're a lazy nation.
Yeah. I mean, a day and a half later, guy walks into a temple, decides to kill a bunch of people. By the way, do we have to take a break yet? Should we stop soon?
we can. Do you want to stop at like 7:30?
53 minutes.
We have.
You're at 53 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we can.
We should probably take a break. So, all right, that's a big teaser for next episode. Going to talk about those slaughtered Jews. All right, everybody. Well, this has been a hilarious episode. Thanks, everybody. We'll be right back, quote unquote, next week.